This is a fan-generated show. If you would like to support us, please go to jamieglazov.com, and also don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. All your support is greatly appreciated.
This is the Robert Spencer moment, brought to you by the Glazov Gang. Jamie asked me to say that. I gotta tell you, I think that's a bit of an absurd opening, but the fact is that this is an absurd age. We live in an age of absolutely rampant absurdity in which the most ridiculous things are taken as axiomatically true. In 1984, the novel, not the year, George Orwell wrote, "War is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength," as the hallmarks of the totalitarian regime he was writing about, that they were enforcing lies upon the people. And it seemed absurd. But now, war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength. These things are taken for granted as true by the leftist intelligentsia, and plenty more absurdities. Nobody sums up the absurdity of our current age better than the feminist icon Linda Sarsour. You may recall Linda Sarsour as the leader of the Women's March on Washington, or one of the leaders of the Women's March on Washington on January 21st, 2017, the day after Donald Trump was inaugurated president. Linda Sarsour was leading all these feminists to protest Trump's alleged misogyny, and yet Linda Sarsour wears a hijab. Now, Linda Sarsour herself will tell you, of course, that the hijab is her choice and nobody else's, and I'm sure that's absolutely true in her case. But the fact is that the hijab in Islam is worn by women in order to keep men from being tempted by them. The idea is that a man has no responsibility for self-control. It is entirely the responsibility of a woman to make sure he is not tempted. If he is tempted, then it is her fault, hence honor killings. And so the hijab is a symbol of a great many misogynistic assumptions that are rooted in Islamic theology and Islamic culture. There have been numerous women in the West, as well as in Islamic countries, who have been brutalized, victimized, threatened with death, and even killed for not wearing the hijab. Aksa Parvez in Mississauga, Ontario in 2007 or 8 was strangled to death by her father and brother with the hijab she refused to wear because she would not wear it. And she is just one of many such examples. So the hijab is hardly a feminist garment. And the idea that a feminist leader would be wearing one is, as I say, absurd. There is much more absurdity to Linda Sarsour. She's very proud of her hijab, as a matter of fact, and in January she filmed essentially an advertisement for the hijab for Vox magazine, because another one of the absurdities of our age is that the left, which celebrates all manner of things that depart quite firmly from traditional morality, is a firm backer of Islamic morality. And so Vox magazine carried this ad for the hijab, and Linda Sarsour is in it saying before she was wearing the hijab, she was just another white girl in New York City. And yet there are numerous occasions in which Linda Sarsour has been quoted as calling herself a person of color. So here we have another absurdity. Apparently she was white until she wore the hijab, and then the hijab magically transformed her race. And when she was confronted about this over the last few days, Linda Sarsour said, "I'm Palestinian. If I say I'm black, I'm black." And to that, I have to say to Linda Sarsour, I'm an American. And if I say I'm Linda Sarsour, I'm Linda Sarsour. And so I, Linda Sarsour, will finish the rest of this Robert Spencer moment for Robert Spencer on the Glazov Gang. And I will do so by noting that when Linda Sarsour, who is quite pale in complexion, calls herself a person of color and relates this apparently to her wearing of the hijab, and most importantly, relates it to her being Palestinian, I think that's a very telling admission, because the Palestinian nationality itself, the whole idea of a distinct nationality and ethnicity of Palestinians, is something that was invented in the 1960s by the KGB and Yasser Arafat. The idea was this: you had Israel, and Israel was the tiny Jewish state surrounded by 22 very large Arab states. Thousands of Israels would fit into those 22 Arab states in terms of geography. And so there was a great sense in the United States and around the free world that Israel was the plucky, courageous underdog fighting against this massive Arab Muslim force that was determined to destroy it. Now, the KGB and Yasser Arafat, in inventing the Palestinians, they turned this narrative around. They made this even tinier people, tinier than the Israeli people, facing down this supposedly massive and rapacious and unjust Israeli war machine. Now, don't take my word for it, because I actually, unlike Linda Sarsour, that is, Linda Sarsour, that lady who wears the hijab and led the feminist movement, not Linda Sarsour, me. The Palestinian spokesman Zahir Hussein said this in 1977: "The Palestinian people does not exist." This is a Palestinian talking, remember. "The creation of a Palestinian state is only a means for continuing our struggle against the state of Israel." Remember, struggle in Arabic is what word? Jihad, that's right. "Against the state of Israel for our Arab unity. In reality, there is no difference between Jordanians, Palestinians, Syrians, and Lebanese. Only for political and tactical reasons do we speak today about the existence of a Palestinian people, since Arab national interests demand that we posit the existence of a distinct Palestinian people to oppose Zionism." So there you have it. Linda Sarsour is a Palestinian. So see, she says, I'm Palestinian. If I say I'm black, I'm black. She's saying essentially, I'm a member of a made-up nationality. So if I want to change my race or say it is whatever I want it to be, then I can do that too. And I think, well, sure, there is a peculiar, insane logic to that. There is a certain way in which that makes sense. That there was never a state of Palestine in history. There was never a Palestinian president. There was never a Palestinian king. There was never any sign that this was anything but a designation for a geographical region. But Linda Sarsour is a proud Palestinian, so why not? Why shouldn't this pale Arab woman call herself black? Why not? I mean, after all, it used to be that white and black were colors, but now they're a measure of how woke you are. Now it's not about the color of your skin, because in that case, I, Linda Sarsour, am darker than the other Linda Sarsour who wears the hijab. But it's about what your politics are. And so, for example, you take black conservatives like Clarence Thomas or Larry Elder, you find people saying they're not really black. And yet, well, to all appearances, if you're talking about skin color or you're talking about racial characteristics of the what scientists have classified as the three races of mankind, then yeah, they're black. But as far as the Linda Sarsours of the world are concerned, as far as the left is concerned, they're not black. They are not woke. They are far paler than the pale Linda Sarsour, the hijab-wearing feminist. You know, friends, the funny thing about the left is that they are full of laughs. They have no sense of humor themselves. They're humorless, nasty people as a rule, but they're great fun. I mean, they're so silly and absurd that if you want to cheer up, if you're feeling low one night and you want to cheer up, then tune in some leftist programs and just spot the unreality, spot the insanity. Because that is, after all, what insanity is. It's not being able to come to grips with reality. It's substituting some alternate vision of the world for reality in its realness, in its hard facts. That's what insanity is. The only problem is that the left is not just a cuddly figure of fun, because they're so dangerous and they are working hard to shut down all dissent. There is, of course, a manifest insecurity in that. They're shutting down all dissent because obviously they can't answer any of the points that we raise about how absurd their positions are. And since they can't answer us, they're just trying to shut us up. as the masthead of frontpagemagazine.com says, inside every liberal is a totalitarian screaming to get out. And we have the great dubious pleasure and honor of living in the age in which they're getting out. And so thank you very much for being here. Please support the Glazov Gang at jamieglazov.com and make sure you are subscribed to the Glazov Gang YouTube channel on which this video is set to appear. Thank you. I'm Linda Sarsour, and it has been a great honor for me to address you on this occasion.